Welcome into New Orleans Saints today, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that big red button right below me because look at the screen. More subs equals more videos. Best part about it, it's completely free. This is your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about New Orleans Saints football this season. Hit that sub button so you can stay in the know. Welcome into New Orleans Saints today. I am your host, RC Maxfield. Got producer Jeremy right here, and we're going to keep you up to date with the latest in New Orleans Saints news and rumors. The first one is a scary one, as the wide receiver core just got that much thinner. Ty Montgomery, who played mostly at running back in 2020, was listed as a hybrid and wide receiver for 2021 and was exclusively in training camp so far, playing at the wide receiver position because, well, there's not very many right now that could show productivity in their NFL career on the Saints roster. You think about Ty Montgomery and what he's done in his NFL career. Well, he was a producer up in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. He came down, played with Drew Brees for a couple seasons, and then now he's asked to just be a primary wide receiver for the sheer fact you just don't have a lot of guys out there in terms of healthy bodies. I mean, the Saints wide receivers just can't catch a break. And again, there might be a pun there in terms of the injuries and everything, but they just legitimately can't catch a break at all. I don't know if they're going to go the wide receiver route via free agency or via a trade, but something's got to happen because right now it is getting eerily thin at the wide receiver position. But in some positive news, we have New Orleans Saints football this week, preseason week 1, as the Saints will take on the Baltimore Ravens. How about that? The post-Drew Brees era officially begins, and listen, we don't know who's going to take that first snap, whether it's going to be Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, but there will be a quarterback battle going on, and that is definitely one matchup to watch. But here's some key players to watch in the first preseason game of the year for the New Orleans Saints. The first one, we were talking about how thin the wide receiver position has gotten. Well, there's been one bright spot in camp, and that's Marquez Callaway. As last season in 2020, Callaway didn't do much. He had 21 catches, 213 yards, no TDs, but he has been a bright spot for an eerily thin wide receiver core that is just looking for warm bodies, it seems like at this point. You look at the wide receiver depth chart, Michael Thomas injured. Tre'Quan Smith has been off and on. He was back on the practice field today. Marquez Callaway has really been the only guy out there that's been consistent. And now you're thinking about this long term. Well, what does it look like going in to week 1 of the regular season? So I'll ask you this and let me know. How confident are you in the Saints wide receivers right now on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to be honest. I don't think you can go higher than a 4, and that's on the positive side. I'm more in that 2 to 3 range because if you don't have Michael Thomas, I mean, it is awful. Even if you do have Michael Thomas, your second wide receiver in Tre'Quan Smith hasn't really proven anything in his years in the NFL. We'll move on and talk about the CB depth chart. My goodness, it doesn't get much better. In terms of just sheer, when you look at it, you have one superstar, obviously Marshawn Lattimore, and for this exercise, we did put Gardner Johnson at the CB. He'll probably play that hybrid role, whether that's at the safety spot or down in the nickel, but at the same time, he will be playing some DB. Now, elsewhere, you obviously had Robinson retire, so you got a little bit thin there. Do you go somewhere else? Well, there might be a name on the roster already, and that's Paulson Adebo, as he got drafted, he got drafted in the 3rd round, again, out of Stanford, has the size that you love in the modern NFL when it comes to a DB, higher than 6'1", and then you look at his weight, 200 pounds, lengthy guy, goes all over the field. Again, a very, very good corner when it comes to the level that you want in his productivity in college, but right now he hasn't proven much, so he is definitely somebody to watch in preseason week 1. Elsewhere, well, you have an injury. Will Lutz. We've talked about it in previous videos, but it's something to monitor just for the sheer fact of who's going to take over. They did sign somebody, and we'll talk about that in just a second, but he's going to miss some time with the groin injury, right? The Saints are trying out kickers, and they did end up signing one, but the positive news from Will Lutz is that he could be available for week 1. The guy that they brought in for camp, well, that's Brett Maher. Again, a lot of people may know him from his Dallas Cowboys days. He didn't play in 2020, but he did go to Nebraska. He's a solid kicker, nothing special. Right now, he's just holding the fort down for Will Lutz. But again, there's a lot of players to watch when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. The kicking position should be one. So who you got? Who are you most excited to watch in preseason week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens? Comment the name down below in the comment section.